Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now, apparently Tyson Fury, according to Eddie Hearn, could be ringside for Anthony Joshua's fight with Kubrat Pulev on December 12th. Now, as we know, Tyson Fury is no longer fighting himself this year at all. He was supposed to be fighting December 5th, but that fell at the wayside with regards to finding the money to put that event together. Obviously, they would need to be guaranteed a certain amount of pay-per-view buys, and they could not guarantee those kind of numbers considering the opponent of a Tyson Fury, which was going to be Caballero, although we have heard it was 98% done for Takam. That was from Takam's promoter though, so it was kind of up in the air, and perhaps it just wasn't meant to be that Tyson Fury was going to be fighting on December 5th. But considering he could be ringside for Anthony Joshua's fight against Kubrat Pulev, doesn't necessarily indicate that his next fight will be AJ, but what it does do is keep things moving in the right direction. And of course, he's there as a spectator, but also a potential opponent in the future for Anthony Joshua, which could take place next year, dependent upon what happens between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. That fight could still happen, but personally, what I think needs to happen is that Tyson Fury fights Anthony Joshua next. I think you will all agree. He doesn't need an interim fight. He does not need a warm-up fight. He's coming off of a win over Deontay Wilder, likely one of his career best performances. So he doesn't need a run out, he doesn't need to shake off any ring rust, because yes, by the time he gets in the ring with, say, Anthony Joshua, if that is his next fight, he would have been inactive for a year or more. But currently that's going to be the case for many fighters, and who is he going to fight unless it's Deontay Wilder, unless Wilder finds a way to make sure that he does fight Tyson Fury. But you have to question whether Wilder even does want to fight Tyson Fury, because he's had his opportunity to get that trilogy fight on. It did not happen. There are more reasons as to why. Not injuries, not force majeures. There is something else behind the scenes as to why that fight did not happen. Team Wilder, Wilder himself, if it didn't happen first time, it's not going to happen second time. Maybe he does want it more now than he did before, but my suspicions are they didn't want the fight as opposed to not being able to make the fight happen, because many fighters are still fighting in the current climate. Anthony Joshua fights in a couple of weeks. Dillian White has fought. Usyk versus Chisora, Loma versus Lopez. So these fights are going ahead. There is no reason as to why this one couldn't. And I think that considering that Tyson Fury will be fighting someone other than Deontay Wilder next, at least I hope it is Anthony Joshua, because if it is Deontay Wilder in the early stages of next year, say springtime, then that does put off the Anthony Joshua fight, because Fury and AJ are supposed to fight twice next year. 2 fights in 2021 is what they agreed. Finances were the first thing to be agreed, perhaps the hardest sticking point in a situation like this. 50-50 in the first fight and 60-40 favouring the winner in the second fight. Now, what happens with regards to mandatories? Because obviously Anthony Joshua will have to face Alexander Usyk after Kubrat Pulev to defend his WBO world title. That is of course if he comes through Kubrat Pulev. That is the focus at the moment. But provided he does beat Kubrat Pulev, there will be a WBO mandatory in Usyk, and he said he's going to enforce his position. So perhaps that belt is vacated to ensure that he can fight Tyson Fury next and get his hands potentially on that green and gold belt, the WBC World Championship that Tyson Fury holds, the one belt that Anthony Joshua has not yet won in the heavyweight division, and the one belt that he does want to win. Maybe the fight won't be for undisputed, but that doesn't matter all that much. What matters more so than anything else is that the fight happens, and it will be interesting to see if Tyson Fury is ringside for Anthony Joshua's challenge against Kubrat Pulev. It will be interesting to see what happens. Does Anthony Joshua call him out? Does Tyson Fury call out Anthony Joshua, provided again he gets the victory? So guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Tyson Fury could be ringside for Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev according to Eddie Hearn, or at least maybe the invite is out there, or perhaps Tyson Fury has requested that he can be there for Anthony Joshua versus Pulev. It would be interesting, and it would be nice to see Tyson Fury put in that environment, put ringside to watch Anthony Joshua take on his mandatory challenger, because that is the guy who he could, and realistically who he should be fighting next. So guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.